Do you want to talk about the Mandalorian?
Bye. Just kidding. Yeah, I mean, it was good. I just don't want to talk about stuff that people don't care about, but also, why are you listening to this?
We don't have to talk about it too much, but
It
you
was good.
mentioned it before we recorded, so I assume you want to talk
Yeah, I
about
had
it.
to make a joke about Mr. Best.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, we
Here's what
learned.
here's what I want to say about it.
Great.
I'm glad for you that the story is back to what you wanted. A bunch of dorks in masks fighting a big beast for another 40 minutes.
Me?
You don't get to follow two people off who go onto a ship, and she's like, come on, get the whatever the F it is.
Mm-hmm.
What's that guy trying to get?
He's trying to get a lab, which is
Yes.
also confusing. You're like,
But it's
you're
just
going to
like a
get a
school cart.
lab?
It's just the thing they roll into your classroom when they're like, all right, today we're going to talk about when you put like food coloring and vinegar.
Yeah. Well,
He
yeah,
just really needs a rolling cart.
well, if I remember right, he puts like 4 things into his backpack, and then they're like, "All right, let's go." And
That's
like,
what I
okay.
was wondering, what their
So
technology is that's all he needs to do, clone technology.
you're gonna clone stuff in your bathroom with 4 petri dishes. Okay, interesting. I mean, then if that's the case, I'm cloning stuff every night.
Yeah, definitely. My socks. So his little buddy, of course, turns on him. But now we go back to the original, which is just a bunch of guys in cave, and they come out every day and they fight each other.
Here's what I'll say.
The way. Huh. This is the way. Huh.
The scene opens on all of them just shooting into the water for no reason. Like, what are you doing? That's how you train? As soon as that happened, I said, I don't know anymore. I don't know. Maybe 2 seasons was enough. Because what are you doing? They're the best fighters in the galaxy. And
But are they?
no.
Boba Fett's bad, right?
The only one who can fight is Bo-Katan, it seems like.
Yeah.
Because even in what was episode 2, when he goes into the little cave on Mandalore and the big grubs fight him and he can barely beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And then he gets captured by the little robot thing, which is cool, the robot spider. I was like, okay, now that I like. But then Bo-Katan comes in and just dispatches them with the ease of what we expect the greatest warrior race to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, we get some Grogu jumping around that's making me laugh my ass off.
Yeah.
But then we get what? No, you say it.
No,
it's my honor is your pleasure. You know what I mean?
Well, I think people are upset because it looks funny when Grogu is jumping around. But it's like the first season you were so excited that they were using a puppet again, and now you're mad that they're using a puppet. Like, what do you want? That's how it would look like.
That's how it would look like.
That's how it would look like.
I love it.
Me too. I thought it was fun.
Watching. He jumps over the guy, jumps back,
shoots him 3 times.
Well, because this is what I want to talk about. Then I'll shut up.
Okay.
Because people, when they switch Yoda to all CG so he can do his fight scene, yes, there are people that were saying Yas Yoda.
Yeah.
But
I was one of them.
A bunch of people were like, he's not a puppet. Right. He's supposed to be a puppet. So it's like, no one is ever happy. Now they want Grogu to be, I guess, not doing stuff as if he's...
I don't know. I don't know what...
They could do it in CG. For some reason, the CG in this show, like when they show the big bat bird thing, looks great.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
But it looks great. And then, so they just don't want to do it. They want to make all you little pipsqueaks happy. That's why they have the big flashback that's on everyone's lips.
Well, what's interesting there too is like the CGI on the birds looks incredible. They look real. And then you have a certain Jedi flying through Coruscant and it looks worse than it did 20 years ago. Yeah. Like how did this happen? This looks like I made it, and I'm not very good.
It must have been an afterthought, right? Because they're like, because it doesn't do any. The whole scene doesn't do anything, right? It just shows that a Jedi saved him.
Well, it's been kind of a question that we've all been having. Who saved him? Who plucked him from the Jedi Temple as Anakin Darth Vader was killing all the younglings? And it turns out it's a guy we don't really know, which is fun. I like that because the everyone was presuming it was going to be Yoda himself or how we have to tie everything into the Skywalker trilogy or whatever the hell it's called. So I like that it was someone not, I like expanding the lore beyond what we already know. And it was still a fun way to be fan servicey, where you're like, see, remember the guy that we made want to kill himself?
This is what makes me mad about it. Every single comment I've read, I'm just sick of. I've seen this with so much stuff lately where it's like, you all hated this man.
Yeah.
And every single comment is like, it was never his fault. It was the character. And like, I always felt bad about the hate that he got. No, you didn't. No one was on his side. Right. Everyone is out there saying that they hate this guy, that it's annoying, that he's a bad actor. And now it's like come back to this, like, actually we do stan him. He's giving Jedi. It's like, and then of course it has to be like, he actually is the best Jedi ever. He's doing it's fine.
It's fine. Yeah, fine.
It's a day player. He showed up, he put the robe on, he's like, come this way, come on. Like, why are you trying to make it? Everyone just feels like they have to now back the guy. Did you see the video he did that was like a hostage? It was like a hostage video.
I couldn't watch it because he doesn't owe anyone anything.
No.
I don't want him to make a video being like, thank you for letting me be back in Star Wars.
Don't worry. It was pretty clear that they were like, hey, you should say something. Because he's like,
maybe
I just want to say, I'm more of a Star Wars fan than, someone that's in these movies, and it's cool that people like Star Wars. It was so like it wasn't instead of being like, you did make me want to commit suicide because you bullied me for 20 years. But
that's just crazy.
It's great that,
for someone who has always known that Jar Jar is great.
Sorry, from the time undead myself. Wait, what is it?
Unalive.
Sorry.
From someone who always knew that his performance was great, and even as a boy and growing into a man, knew that Jar Jar, it really does all come down to Jar Jar. I was happy to see him. My heart grew a little bit bigger that morning that I was watching it, and his Jar Jar face showed up.
And just the fact that if you don't like Jar Jar, you don't understand how movies work, even 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That it's not this guy's fault.
Yeah.
That like, oh, he's annoying with his floppy. Like, it's a CG character.
Yeah.
George Lucas told him to do that. Like, what do you... But then everyone's like, I knew that. I knew that the whole time. And
it was never his fault.
I'm just sick of it. I don't need this from people. They're like, actually, I've always thought my favorite actor of all time was Brendan Fraser. I don't care that you like him, but stop acting to me like, actually, I knew this was going to happen.
I've always known this.
Just lay off of it. Lay off. Also, it should have been Jar Jar. They should have just had Jar Jar been like, come with me, sir.
Honestly, that would have been way better.
They should have.
Because he's a senator at this point.
Then he hops in a thing and he's fine. He's like, you're a bad boy.
You know what would have been cool? Because they meet up with the Naboo security force or something. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure those are the Naboo military.
that are on a freaking suit. Take our ship. It's filled with gas.
They're like, I guess we'll just die here.
For this little guy.
But wouldn't it have been cool if the ship opens up and who's on it? But one of the leaders of the Naboo.
Say
Jar Jar Binks.
That's good. That's a great Jar Jar. And then he shakes hands with the Jedi.
With yeah.
I think this is another Andor thing where they use Andy Serkis as someone else, and they're like, you
Yeah.
can do that, like you can.
Well, what you probably don't know is that Ahmed Best a couple of years ago played this character, this Jedi, in a little kids YouTube show that they put out. It was like 10 episodes. It was like Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Okay, this is the ultimate.
It was like a little game show where kids do force stuff, or like run an obstacle course. And he's like, very good, Padawans. Unfortunately, purple team is slow. You have to go back to the Jedi Order for training or whatever. And they're like, yeah, whatever. So he is kind of actually reprising his role. It's all canon, you see.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Did you watch anything else?
God blessed Ahmed Best.
Yeah, I like that he got to do it. If he wanted to. That's the other thing, is like, did he really want to, or was he like, oh, I'll finally get to be paid for Star Wars again?
It should have been Jar Jar. At this point, everyone has come around on the movies. That's the other thing.
Nah, there would have been huge uproar, I think.
I would have loved it. I mean, he probably
I would have loved it.
Doesn't want to. There's probably some deep-seated like
Yeah.
Something traumatic about, like, he's like, I don't know. Even if I'm doing it to be fun, like, oh, wouldn't this be funny?
Yeah.
He's probably just like, I'm not gonna do that.
That would have been so cool, though. Actually,
I wish.
because like, and it would have redeemed. It would have redeemed Jar Jar a little bit, because he cast a vote in favor of Palpatine having unlimited power. But it would have been interesting to have him realize his mistake and go back to the Jedi temple and find and save. Because do you know that in like the books, the expanded whatever the hell, but like it's canon, that Jar Jar is like a homeless person after the prequels. Like they meet up with him in one of the books, and he is like performing on the street for money.
Why they do this to him?
I don't know. It just seems so cruel. But like it seemed like, at the time it was probably, well, this is like 5 years ago or something. It was like still funny, I guess, to be mad at Jar Jar or whatever. But it would have just been cool to have him do one more heroic thing.
I want to see him. I want to see his updated. I want to see him, in CG again. And,
Yeah, sure.
Well, you're never gonna get that.
No, I mean, you can watch like 50,000 hours of Jar Jar and the Clone Wars.
No, you're never gonna get it. Not this time. Never gonna get it.
Anything else? Watch anything else? Now that we've talked for 30 minutes about Star Wars, which our fan base will love.